So we are now a third way through the season and no better time to look back at my pre-season predictions. So we'll kick off with who I picked as champions. They are the team I picked most seasons to be the champions. That was Manchester City. It looks like this prediction may come a cropper, which I would be quite pleased about, if I'm totally honest. I think I would change that now, if I was asked right now. I know there's still a long way to go, but I'm not just for Liverpool. I actually think Arsenal might finish above Manchester City, even though Manchester City are, I think, just above them at the moment. But I just think the problems that they've got in midfield, that would be one that I think I would change. So I am now going to change my champions, because I never believe in people sticking with the same people they say at the start of the season, even though there's evidence in front of them. A third way through the season, I'm speaking to you, Gary Neville. I'm going to go Liverpool to win the league now. I think they will be the bookies' favourites, and I think they've got a sizable lead. I still think it'll be obviously a very tight run-in, whether that's Manchester City trying to get at them or Arsenal coming back at them as well. But I'll just go for Liverpool. And right now, I'm not going to go to the Champions League positions. I'm going to jump straight to the manager to watch this season, because I went for Arne Slot. And right now, he's making me look a very clever tipster. So yeah, I went for Arne Slot. Not just because I thought Liverpool would have a hugely successful season. It was just very intriguing to what he would do at Liverpool, what he would change, what he would bring to the role on the back of, following a magnificent manager who had a huge effect not just on Liverpool but the Premier League as well. But I don't think he could have gone any better for the for the new Liverpool manager. Didn't really bring a player in, a first choice player in the summer as well. So I think there was a little bit of fear going into the season that it may not be a great season for Liverpool, or it might be tough for the new manager, but he's made an amazing start. Well, what's changed under Arne Slot is Liverpool are better defensively. Right now, they are the best team in the league defensively. You see that with the numbers. Liverpool were a lot more gung-ho under Jurgen Klopp, so maybe Liverpool are not as exciting on the eye to watch now, but they seem a lot more stable than they have done maybe the last couple of years. We shouldn't forget how good that Jurgen Klopp team was that that won the title. I don't think this Liverpool team is as good as that. The position they find themselves in now, I mean, they can only pinch themselves, and a lot of that's to do with the manager as well. He's got a great squad, you should say that as well. I do think Liverpool have the best squad in the Premier League in terms of numbers and the quality they can bring off the bench. I've always felt Manchester City had the best individuals. Maybe Arsenal have the best team and everybody's fit. But there's no doubt for me, Liverpool have the best squad. So, second to fourth, which is what we class as the Champions League positions, I went for Arsenal second, Liverpool third, and I went for Tottenham fourth. Liverpool and Arsenal will be in there. I just hope one of them is at the top of the table. I think Tottenham might just miss out, but that is not so much just about them. I think Chelsea have been so impressive at the start of the season and a lot better than I thought they would be. So I'm actually looking at Chelsea now, and I can't really make a case for them not being in the top four. I think the fact that they've gone out the Carabao Cup early, the European competition that they're in, I think they will go in long. They will go to the end of the season and probably win that competition, but it's against very average and ordinary opposition. So, we know that the manager Maresca has played the second team in almost every game in that, and I think that will continue. So I find it very difficult not to put Chelsea in my top four. So I would now change Tottenham and Chelsea. And the reason with Tottenham is it's just that inconsistency. You look at the numbers, their underlying numbers this season, they're actually better than they were last season when Tottenham were top of the table and had made the best start that they'd had for a long time under Ange Postecoglou. But the typical Tottenham. Tottenham fans wanted their Tottenham back, and they've got them back. Great football, exciting, lots of goals, but you can never be sure what type of performance they're going to put in. Is it going to be the Manchester City performance where they win away 4-0, or is it going to be going away to Crystal Palace and losing 1-0? And that is the problem. That's why I see them not getting a Champions League position. Now, in fifth place, this is the biggest mistake I've made in my predictions. I put Manchester United in fifth position. I don't think there's a chance Man United finish in fifth position. I'd be very surprised if they finish in the top six. I can't really see that happening. So I'm going to go for Tottenham. I've said Tottenham will just miss out on the Champions League positions with Chelsea going in there. I'm going to now put Tottenham in fifth position because I just think they haven't got the players, the quality. I thought Ten Hag may have a chance of almost taking them back to where they were in his first season, making them a lot more competitive. They spent 180 million in the summer as well, but no, I overestimated how they would do, Manchester United, and it's one that I'm glad to get wrong. Sixth, I had Aston Villa. I'm I'm not going to change that. I'm going to keep Aston Villa there. I think they've just had a little bit of a rocky period, which you'd expect. You know, they're not a team you'd expect to sort of be challenging for the title. You know, when you're at a team challenging for the top 4 positions, you are going to have spells in the season where it doesn't go well. I mean, they're absolutely flying in the Champions League. I think they're second to Liverpool in that. And sometimes for players who are not used to playing the Champions League and the Premier League at the weekend, it can take a lot out of you. Not just physically, but mentally. You're playing at the absolute highest level every single game you play. It's not like playing in the Europa League on a Thursday night where you can drop off a little bit. You know, every game is absolute top level. And he just found it a little bit tough the last couple of weeks, but I think they'll bounce back. But I certainly think they'll get another European place again this season. Relegation zone. I went for Southampton, Leicester and Nottingham Forest. Now, I think Southampton are going to find it really tough. I think Leicester, with changing the manager, Steve Cooper, listen, they were out of the relegation zone right now, and that's the name of the game, that's where they want to be. But the owners obviously felt that they were getting dragged too close for comfort for it, so they will feel they'll get a bounce, maybe with the new manager coming in, but I think that squad of players there will find it tough. And Nottingham Forest is the big one that I got wrong. They've come pretty close the last couple of years. I thought they may be affected with sort of maybe a points decision this season, maybe with PSR. With the some of the transfer deals that they've done in the past, those players are sort of coming to fruition now. You look at the centre-backs that they've got have been outstanding. And also what I've got badly wrong is underappreciating how much quality they've got in attack. When you actually look at the attacking players, you know, Chris Wood at the top end of the pitch, Anderson who's come in, Morgan Gibbs-White, Hudson-Odoi, Alanga. Those attacking players are probably players you'd expect to play for a team in the middle of in the Premier League, actually. So I probably didn't do my homework enough on the fact that their attacking players were so good. And also, the manager is a very experienced Premier League manager and has had great success with a similar sized club in Wolves a few years ago. So at the moment, I mean, listen, I always think this is an easy one. Top scorer in the Premier League, you know, you look at Man City scoring the most scores, they've got Erling Haaland who plays centre forward. So, you know, Haaland's on 12, Salah's on 10, but don't forget Salah's more of a wide player as well. I know Mo likes me to say that. But no, I think it's very difficult to look past Erling Haaland. You know, every season he plays for Manchester City, I would expect that he would win the Golden Boot. But you look at, so I'm just mentioning Chris Wood before, and Mbeumo on 8 as well. Jackson, who's made a brilliant start to the season as well, he's done really well. Palmer's on 7 as well. So there's a lot there. But I think realistically, there's only Mo Salah who can catch Erling Haaland, and I think the only way he probably can catch him is if Erling Haaland gets an injury. Impact signing, I went for Pedro Neto. I was intrigued how he do, because I think he's a superstar. I think he's a brilliant player. And initially he wasn't in the Chelsea team. He's now found himself ahead of Jadon Sancho on that left side. He's got a brilliant goal against Arsenal. He's got wonderful pace. I actually think he's more suited to the right. But Madueke plays there. Cole Palmer likes to play in that position as well at times. So it's probably going to be difficult for him. But I'd expect to see a lot more coming from him. Hopefully the Arsenal goal really kick-starts him. But I think there's a real top player there. You know, I really do. And he's had a good start without being a great one. He's found himself now back in the first choice 11. Hopefully in the second half of the season we'll see the Neto that we saw ripping up the Premier League at times for Wolves. So I will have to change my impact signing, because I'm expecting a little bit more from Neto. We'll see as the season goes on, but I am now going to go on the evidence of the first third of the season for Ross Barkley, and he actually last season was one of the impact signings of the season when he went to Luton. He found himself outside the team, he's got himself back into the team. He scored a few vital goals, and there's a lot of competition for midfield positions at Aston Villa. But right now, I actually think Ross Barkley and Tielemans next to him is probably the best partnership that they can have at Aston Villa. So keep up the good work, Ross. It's 2 years in a row right now that you've been one of the impact signings in the Premier League.